Hello everybody, welcome to Megha Discourse, and in this video our aim is to get the basic storyline of Paradise Lost and who are the main characters and what is the relationship among different characters and what are the main points that are asked in different English literature examination, be it UGC NET, be it set examinations or TGT, PGT, GATE examination or any examination that is related to English literature. We would also explore some of the important, quotations and previous year questions of UGC NET English. So if you're somebody who is looking for a one-stop solution for Paradise Lost, then this video is very helpful for you. So I really want you to watch this video from the beginning till the end and make your own notes from this video. So this Paradise Lost is basically, the epic poem of John Milton. Epic poem means epic, as I told you in my literary subgenres videos, that epic is something in which we have, it's a kind of, a narrative in which we talk about, serious matter, serious subject matter, because in this we have God, we have Saturn, we have evil powers, Adam, Eve. It is related to the cosmic energy and the way of the word, we can say, about the mankind, about humanity. So these are all the serious matters, right? So that is why this poem is, epic. And the other characteristics of epic the setting of this epic is, here we have hell, we have heaven, we have Eden Garden of the earth, we have chaos of the universe, the dark place. So the setting is vast here. So there are many characters. We have a cataloging kind of technique. Cataloging is basically, making the catalogs is a kind of list. So we have list of different devils, Saturns, different devils and evil spirits, right? So that is why we call it as cataloging. So in this epic poem, we have different such of features, and that is why this is an epic poem. You can also tell me the other features of epic in the comment section. So this poem is basically an epic poem, and as we can see that it has, 12 books. So we can see the length of this book. So it is divided into 12 books. So we can say this is a very long poem, right? And it is written, in this blank verse. Blank verse means that we have unrhymed iambic pentameter. So let me make you understand what is unrhymed iambic pentameter. Basically, there is a difference between the free verse and blank verse. So in the free verse, we do not have any rhyme. We do not have any rhyme. Like I can write, I am a girl, I dance a lot, I also sing. So we do not have any kind of rhyme here. So this is known as free verse. But in this blank verse, what happens is that we have some rhythm. There would be some meter, that is this iambic pentameter. Okay, and this is of course unrhymed. Okay, there would be some rhythm in the form of, beat, like a heartbeat. That is like the blank verse. Now let us talk about the publishing year of this poem. So basically we have 1667, in which Milton has, produced these 10 books, and in 74 he added 2 more books and thus making it to the 12 books, and this was his final edition that we read today. So from this slide, what you have to learn that Paradise Lost is having 12 books and the publishing dates of both the editions, and it is written in blank verse, and this is an epic poem. When it comes to the opening of this poem, this opening is very important because this is, a question that has been asked in various examinations, because the line from 1 to 26. So line number 1 to line number 26, basically from here to line number 26, this all contains a single full stop. This means that it is just one sentence, right? Hope you are already familiar with the difference between a line and a sentence. I have discussed this in my literary genre video, so you can go and watch that also. So basically this begins from, of man's first disobedience and the fruit of that forbidden tree, whose mortal taste brought death into the world. So basically I will not read the whole text. I will just tell you about the main ideas shortly. So here Milton is talking about that he would write a kind of poetry in which he would talk about man's first disobedience, that it was the first time that some human and man was being disobedient towards the God, right? So this is that story that John Milton is telling in this poem. And here you should know that he is, taking the help from heavenly muse. Here you can see that he wants to, I may assert eternal providence, that I want some eternal providence, some help from the divine to write this and justify the ways of God to men, that why God made Adam and Eve commit such a blunder. So what was his purpose behind making all these things happen? So that is why he is saying that paradise is lost, but what is the reason behind losing this paradise? So now in this poem he will justify the ways of God to man, or we can say the purpose of God to the man, or we can say to us. And we can see that he is, while it pursues things unattempted yet in prose and rhyme, that nobody has told about this subject or has written about this kind of theme yet in prose or in rhyme, in poem or in essay or in other narrative form. But I will do so. And thus what he does is that he is taking the help. He is, invoking thy aid. He is invoking a muse, a divine inspiration, right? So I will talk about this shortly. So for this, he is taking this divine help. So I hope that you are already familiar with this prologue, because in the epics we have prologue, and in here he is using in media res. In media res means that he is just, beginning the poem not from the beginning. He will begin the actual poem, the actual subject in middle of the things. So after this he will start the poem, and this is just the prologue. So I hope you are already familiar with all these things. So now let us just directly come to the John Milton. So as we know that John Milton was born in London 1608 and he died in 1674, and it is the same year when he produced, final this Paradise Lost in 12 books. And he was also known as Lady of Christ because he used to study in Cambridge University and he used to look like a female, and because he was very fair and very appealing, and because of his physical charm, his friends and the people in the Cambridge University used to call him as Lady of the Christ. And this is also your previous year question of UGC NET English. And he was basically a Puritan, and English Civil War he has major indulgence in that war, because he was against King Charles monarchy and he was in the favor of Oliver Cromwell and Puritan people, and he was himself a Puritan. Okay, so I hope you have already watched the history of English literature master video, and when it comes to the Puritanism, you will be also dealing with the Puritan people, Puritan age in the American history also. So we have also uploaded that video, so you can go and watch. So in just less than 1 hour you will be able to finish that American history too. So when it comes to his blindness, we should know that before writing Paradise Lost, he went blind. Basically, it was in 1652 when he went blind, and he wrote Paradise Lost while he was blind, and he dictated this poem to his daughters, that I am just dictating this poem to you and you write the poem for me. So just imagine what kind of, inspiration, what kind of imagination and what kind of thought this John Milton have had when he was writing such a poem, and he was blind and he was just dictating the poem to his daughters. So this was his genius. So that is why that Milton is considered, the second most important poet after our William Shakespeare. Now we should know about the muse that he has invoked. So basically here we have Urania, that this is a muse of astronomy, or we can say dealing with the astronomical things and the universe. In the book 1, he calls Urania as heavenly muse, and in this book 3, he invokes holy light, or holy light is the same muse as Urania. And basically while he was invoking holy light, he meant to say that what in me is dark, illumine. This means that because I am blind, I cannot see, but you gave me the sight, you gave me the power, you gave me the energy to see the things beyond my sight, so that I can recite the poem to my daughters and thus a great poem be born. So basically he invokes holy light. What in me is dark, you have to illumine, you have to give it sight or give it a light. And in the book 7 he again invokes Urania. So you should know this thing also. And you should also know that he also worked as a civil servant, right? And he was also somebody who wrote the very important work was Areopagitica, Tell Me Freedom, right? Basically against the censorship of press. Basically it was for the press freedom. So you should know this thing as well. And when Charles came, Charles led the Puritans, went to the jail, and it was this Andrew Marvell who came to an aid, or we can say at help of our John Milton. So let us just come directly to the poem. So now there is this heaven, and in this heaven there is God, and besides God there are other angels as well. Now there are thousands such angels, and in those angels there was one angel who was this Lucifer. And God said that there would be my son of God, or we can say Jesus Christ. Now that Jesus Christ, this Jesus Christ is my son, and he will be having, some powers. I will give him some powers over you. But this thing was not, acceptable to our Lucifer. He says that if we are having equal powers, we all angels have equal powers, then why should we bow down to the Son of God or God? I can be the God, I can sit on the throne, hai na? So he kind of rebelled against the God, and he collected 1/3 of such angels with him, and he formed a different kind of group, and they all rebelled against the God. So because of this, what happens is that God, expelled these fallen angels from the heaven, and after they were expelled from the heaven, they fell from heaven for 9 days and 9 nights, because there was such a vast, gap between this heaven and between this hell. And in the middle of this heaven and hell, we have this earth, which is to be created in the other book. So now let us just talk about book 1. It is really important to know about this context before beginning our poem. So now basically in the book number 1, what happens is that now Satan will be expelled from the heaven, and he will now fell from heaven for the 9 days and 9 nights. This is very important fact. Okay, this is basically book 1 is basically about the fall of Satan, and they were feeling really helpless. And because in the hell we have dark everywhere, there is dark, there is chaos, there is heat, scorching heat, and there is no hope, there is no light, there are no comforts, no food to eat, and everything is so discouraging, disappointing, because they have had a habit of living in the comforts in the paradise. But now Lucifer has to live in the hell. So basically there is his friend who is Beelzebub, and that Beelzebub says that now what we should do, should we give up what we should do? And Satan says that it is better to reign in hell than to serve in heaven, that I will not say sorry to the God to make me come back to the paradise. I will not bow down. So rather we would be the king here in the hell. We will make this hell our kingdom, but we will not say sorry to the God. And this is his pride, or we can say ego, that is making him rebel against the God. So now what will happen in the end of the book 1, they will create a pandemonium, and this word is coined by John Milton itself. So they will make a pandemonium is a kind of capital city of this hell. For instance, we have India, may just say we have capital Delhi. So similarly, there is this capital city of this hell, that is this pandemonium. And in this pandemonium, the capital of hell, this is built by Beelzebub, who is the architect of this pandemonium. In this pandemonium, all the evil angels, the fallen angels will sit and they will all make meeting, and then they will discuss the upcoming plan, that how they can, rebel against the God, or how they can, exploit or ruin the earth or humanity. As we know that all the angels who are now fallen used to be angels at some time, at some point of time in the past. And Lucifer was one such a fallen angel. Lucifer means somebody who is light bearer, means who holds the light, who enlightens others, who make people think beyond the things. Basically, this is the meaning, but here Lucifer is being full of, pride and ego. So now these fallen angels used to be called as gods. So now the Satan will give them new names. For instance, we have Moloch, we have Belial, Dagon, Mammon, Ashtaroth, we have Ramon, we have Tammuz. There are many such names. These are the main ones that I have written. And this Moloch and Belial will appear in the book 2 also. This is your PYQ. Okay. So in the council, in the meeting of this pandemonium, they are all sitting and just thinking, what should we do now? Now that God has expelled us, now we are no longer having some comforts or luxuries of the God, nothing to eat, no flowers. So what should we do now? So Moloch says that we should wage a war against the God, that we should fight against the God. How can he do this to us? We are all angels. And he says that we have equal power when it comes to the power of God or us or the Son of God. We have equal powers. How should we bow down? So we should wage a war against him. There is this Belial who says that no, we should wait, because Belial is a god of, letharginess. So Belial says that no, बहुत ही आलस है उसके अंदर. We should not do anything. We should just take some rest, and the God will forget all these things after some days, and he will forgive us, and then he will call back us to the heaven. So he is just saying this. Then there is Mammon, who says that we should build this kingdom, because Mammon is a god of, money, gold. He says that we should dig the grounds of hell, because Mammon is a spirit who is always, bent downwards like this. Why he bent downwards? Because he is digging the gold underground. He is always digging the gold, right? He is always in the mining position. So he says that we should build this kingdom like heaven. We will build this hell. And then in the last, Beelzebub, who says that we should corrupt man. There is this word, because now God has, made us fall from the heaven. Now he is thinking about creating one more race, one more creature, and those are humans. And they will be somewhere in the new planet, that is Earth. So we should go there and ruin those people. We should destroy their living, their thought process and their mentality, and we should bring them woe, sadness, death, sin. And the thing that Beelzebub says, they all agree that yes, this is the best idea, this is the best that we can do. And he wins that yes, now this is our next goal. And for this, it is chosen that he will go to the earth, and then he will see what is happening in this earth, who are the people. And Satan decides that yes, I will lead and I will go. When the Satan was, leaving the hell and was going to the earth, so in this mid path, there was chaos all around. And when he was there going to the chaos, in the gate, in the hell, we used to have 3 gates. And in those 3 gates, there was this second gate. And in that second gate, there was 2 guards. Who were these 2 guards? They were the sin and death. And sin and death kaun hai? Sin and death are basically, they are the Lucifer, or we can say Satan, they are the children, right? How Satan, now this sin is, the daughter of Satan, and she is also, the mother of Lucifer's son, who is death. So basically this is a sin in itself, that he is having illegitimate relation with his own daughter. And sin ke paas kya hai? Sin has the keys of hell, and she gives the keys of the hell to the Satan so that he can go. And she also tells the Satan that death is your own son. Okay. So because they both were fighting with each other, Lucifer and death, but she says that no, do not kill, he is your own son, right? So this is basically book 1 and 2. And now what will happen, the Satan will go to the Eden garden. Okay, now what happens is that in the book 3, it is all about the heaven's plan. Now we know that this Satan, this Satan is going towards the earth. Meanwhile, the scene shifts. In the book 3, we see the divine help to write his epic. Now, as we discussed earlier, that now John Milton is in the book 3 invoking the divine help so that he can write this great poem again. So here in the book 3, what happens is that you should know that book 3, opens in the heaven. So if there is this question that in which book there is this scene of heaven, so you should know in the book 3 there is this scene of heaven. Okay, so in the book 3, God is already seeing the Satan, that what he is doing. He is going to ruin the earth, the Garden of Eden or the paradise. So God is seeing everything. He is observing every move of Satan, right? Son of God, and he is sitting there and he is asking to the God that, God, what should we do now? He is doing this thing to the humanity. Now what will happen? But God has given, free will to humanity, that humanity, if there is something negative that affects you, if there is something that ruins you, then you have the free will. You have the choice to make. You should know the difference between the good and the bad, because God has given you the reason, the thinking, the rational thinking. And that is the main idea of God. But now there is no mistake on the part of humanity, because we did not invite Satan to ruin us. It was not us who invited Satan to come or bring woe, sin, death to our world. So humanity is being, kind of deceived. Dhokha mila hai hame. So to compensate this deceiving element, our God says that I will, forgive the humanity. I will forgive the humanity. But I want somebody who pay the price or redeem himself or herself. Now, why they have to pay the price? Because ultimately we will see in the book number 9 that how there would be a fall. It was this Adam and Eve, the humans, the first, our father and mother. The God told them that not to eat an apple, that is a fruit from the tree of knowledge, but they do eat it. And this is this one single disobedience, or we can say mistake, of which they have to pay the price, right? But of course they did so. They have to pay some price for it. And for that, the Son of God comes. He volunteers to die for man. He says that, please God, do not give them punishment, the people. Because now Adam and Eve have realized their mistake. Now they are crying. They are very, feeling kind of guilt of after doing this act. Then I will be, somebody who will die for them. For their sin, I will die. I will redeem. I will reincarnate. Right? I will go in the form of a human on the earth, and I will, because of their sin, I will die. And that is how, this theme of atonement comes into this poem. Scene is shifting again. Now this Saturn lands on sun. There is this sun, and now Saturn is sitting on the sun and he is observing the paradise, because now he is in the paradise and he is observing the paradise, Adam, Eve, the newly formed creatures, and he meets Uriel there. Uriel is an angel who is guarding the sun, and he is standing there as a guard. And Uriel is one of the angels who is very sharp-sighted, because he is guarding sun. He has some good vision. He can see. He has the power of seeing. But now disguised himself as a young stripling cherub, or we can say young child, and he is in the disguise of a young child. Now he is deceiving our Uriel, who is we can say the god of good sight. He is even deceiving this god. Now even Uriel, the sharpest angel, is being deceived, and Satan sees Adam and Eve and he feels pity. And now when Satan will look at the Adam and Eve, that how they are spending their time, and they are just eating different fruits, they are living in such a luxurious Eden garden, and the things, the nature. So he feels a pity that I used to be the one who used to live in heaven. I used to have similar comfort. he feels very pity. And it is for the first time that Saturn feels that I think I should say sorry to the god. But no, his pride prevails, his pride dominates, and he does not say sorry. He says that no, I will not say sorry. There is this Adam and Eve. So Eve one day was, just, sleeping, and this Saturn, in the disguise of a toad, or we can say a frog, he goes near the Eve's ear and he will whisper some bad dream, whisper some doubt or desire in the ears of Eve that you should eat that fruit. The fruit that Adam, the God, is telling you not to eat, you should eat that fruit. Go and eat it. And when he was doing this, the angels who are Ithuriel and Zephon, they catches the Saturn, because the Uriel jo tha na, this Uriel was somewhat having some doubt in his mind that there is this child who is scribbling cherub or Lucifer, and how can this child be, showing such expression? He was showing very strange expressions, but a child never shows such expression. A child is always happy, but the expressions of this child is changing a lot. So he kinds of have now a doubt, and he tells this thing to Gabriel, and Gabriel will send these two angels, Ithuriel and Zephon, to catch that Saturn, and they catch that Saturn who was sitting near the Eve's ear. But what happens is that there would be in the sky, there would be some scales, the scales of justice, and it is a kind of omen that God has given free will to everyone, and he cannot force Saturn to say sorry. And God says that to Saturn that do whatever you want, right? So he just leaves the paradise now. For instance, we can see that there is this tree, and this tree of knowledge is having apples on it, and it is the God who said that you should not eat that fruit of knowledge, eat that apple. And it is this Adam who also said to Eve that you should not eat that. But here the Saturn wants the Eve to eat that. So if they will eat this fruit, then they will be expelled from this Eden garden, or we can say paradise lost. So he wants this paradise lost to happen, right? So this is the reason that why he wants Adam and Eve to eat this fruit, and that is why he whispers in the ear of Eve that you should have some doubt towards this Adam and towards the God, that why they are telling you not to eat that fruit. Have some doubt, go and eat it. You should also be desirous enough to eat that, right? So this is the thing. So now what happens in book number 5 and 6? So in the book number 5, we see there is a Raphael's warning, because now God is seeing everything. Now he is saying that what Saturn wants to do. Saturn has finally landed on the earth, on the Eden garden, and now he wants to ruin Eve and Adam, the humanity. So God will send Raphael, another angelic spirit, to the earth, to this earth, and to tell and to give some warning to our Adam and Eve not to eat the fruit. So Raphael, who is one of the social angels, is very social. He will eat with our Adam. He will sit and eat with our Adam. Has this very social spirit. This question can be asked in your exam. So he visits Adam and warns about Saturn's past rebellion, and he tells about the workings of Saturn, that how there used to be a fallen angel like Lucifer. And when the God said that you have to bow down, you have to bow in front of the Son of God, he says that no, I will not bow. And there was a war in the heaven for 3 days. And thus, if he comes to you and tells you to eat that fruit, don't do so. So that war went for the 3 days straight. So in the book 6, Milton talks about the war in the heaven, these 3 wars. So on the day 1, what happens is that God's angel won the war. As you can see here, there was a war between the angels, right? A war between the angels, good angels and the bad angels, right? So on the day 2, what happens is that Saturn invents cannon and gunpowder, basically the atomic bombs, the modern day nuclear bombs, we can say. So in the day 2, because on the day 1 God won, on the day 2 Saturn will invent some powder, some chemical, right? And they will invent some cannon, the gunpowder, the nuclear things, the atom bomb. So he was basically known as the creator, who is the creator of all these things. So he was way scientific in those times. So it was this Saturn. And on the third day, Son of God, because God really wants this war to end now. So he will send the Son, and the Son will alone drive all the rebels out from the heaven. Okay, and thus they will for the 9 days fall, right? And from here our book 1 starts. So basically this is the storyline, and here is this one angel. This is again a PYQ of UGC NET English. He's the only angel who stood against Satan among his own army, because Satan, this Abdil, he was, you know, only angel who was against Satan, because he was the only, we can say, evil angel. He tells Satan that you should not go against the God, because it is the God who created us, and we owe the things, we owe everything to the God, so you should not rebel against him. So he was the only angel who stood against Satan among his own army. Okay, so you should know this thing. He was very faithful. So this is basically book number 5 and book number 6. Now in the book number 7, what happens is that there would be a creation of word. Now the God will create a word, the word which we were talking about, the word of Garden of Eden, earth, right? Because on the earth we have Garden of Eden is basically a temple, because God wanted to have some prints, to have some image of his own on the earth. So he created this Garden of Eden, right? So there is this creation of word, this whole earth, and 6 days it took to make this earth, and it was the Son of God who performs it, not God. So if the question comes that who created this word, so it is not God but the Son of God. Okay, you should know, the Jesus Christ, right? And on the day 1, light was, you know, light was produced, light was created. For instance, this light was created on the day 1. Then we have sky and weather. So sky and weather all came on the day 2. On the day 3 we had this land and the plants. Okay, in the day 4 we have sun, moon and stars. They all came in the day 4. Then we have day 5, we have fish, birds, and on the 6th day animals and the man came. And on the day 7, this is the rest day of the God. He took some rest, and that is why on the Sunday we also take some rest. Day of the Sabbath we call it, right? So this is how the word is created. So you should know about this thing as well. So in this book number 7, the word is created. Okay. Now in the book number 8, what happens is that there is Raphael's warning to Adam. Now Raphael will give some warning to Adam, because Satan is about to ruin this Eden garden, humanity, or Adam and Eve, we can say. So here Adam is asking questions, because they were having meal together. As I told you that Raphael went to Adam in order to warn him, and they were having some food together. So now Adam will ask a question from this Raphael. First Raphael warned Adam about the war, as I told you, in the heaven. Now Adam will ask question to Raphael that how there is a movement of planets, in the universe. Sun kahan se aaya, from where came the sun, the moon, and things like that. So he was being too curious. So here Raphael says that don't be too curious about astronomy. You should not be that much curious. Do not ask questions like these, because these are beyond your comprehensiveness. You cannot comprehend such secrets of the word, of the ways of God. And then Adam tells to this Raphael about Eve, that how Eve was created. He gives an anecdote that one day I was just sitting and was feeling very bored, and I kind of looked to the God and told him that I'm feeling bored and I want somebody who is having equal power to me, because with him there used to live in the Eden garden, there used to live animals, other birds, but they did not have power which is equal to the power of Adam. So he felt bored. So God says that you have so many animals, you can play with them, you can talk to them, you can spend your time with them. But he says that no, I want somebody who is equal to mine. So God created, out of the rib of Adam. So out of the rib, God took the rib of Adam and he created Eve from it, right? And when he created this Eve, he looked at Eve and they both spent their time with each other. And yes, let me tell you that when they were with each other, they were naked and they were not conscious of what they are wearing, of whether there should be some attraction between the opposite gender or something like that. So they were not conscious at all of these things. They were just spending their time doing the gardening, eating, spending, entertaining, talking, nothing else. And when they will eat the fruit, they will get that consciousness. Then they will feel that, oh, we are naked, and then they cover themselves with the leaves, right? And because now Raphael knows that Adam is, kind of having some attraction towards the Eve, because they are spending their times with each other like a friend. And thus Raphael says that don't love Eve so much that your love clouds reason, that you will forget reasoning. And this is a kind of foreshadowing movement. What is foreshadowing? Means that Raphael is giving warning to Adam about something, that you should not love Eve, because out of love he will also eat the fruit and Adam will also fall like Eve. So there is this biggest flaw of Adam, which is the passion for Eve. This is again a PYQ of NET. Okay, now let us just come to book number. And if you look at the poem from a female perspective, then I guess this is anti-feminist. There is some anti-feminist element here also. So book number 9 is the most important book, because in this we will have the fall. Now what will happen is that I have already shown you that how there is this Satan, who is the form of a serpent. As you can see, he is in the form of a serpent. Serpent is a big snake. So now there is this Adam and there is this Eve. So when Satan will look at them, he is kind of feeling jealousy, that Eve is so beautiful, Adam is so beautiful, he is so tall, right? So I should ruin them. So out of jealousy, what he will do, he will just sit there and he is just observing them from some place. He's just observing them. And there is this incident that when Eve tells Adam that I had a dream last night, and in that dream I saw that there is this toad who is telling me to eat that fruit and I should have some desire of that fruit. So Adam tells that it is just a dream, do not think that much about it, it's just a dream. Because now we have reason, we have rational thinking, so just to make better decisions, and it is just a dream, forget it, right? But yes, Adam has already told her before that there is only one single condition that God has given us, and which is that we must not eat that fruit of tree of knowledge, right? Of the tree of knowledge. Now, because there was this seed of doubt in the mind of Eve, which was sown by this toad, or we can say Lucifer. Now she is telling this Adam that let us do the work of the gardening in different places. Now you do the gardening there, I do the gardening here. Let us just drift apart and do the things separately. But Adam does not want her to go like this. But still he says that okay, fine, if you want to do the work on your own and you do not need my assistance, then okay, you should carry on. So now they will separate. So this is the moment when this serpent, the Lucifer, will come in the form of a serpent, or we can say a big snake. He will come and he will flatter our Eve. He will praise Eve's beauty, because now he is a serpent, a big serpent, and he's talking. And Eve is, shocked that how a serpent can talk. He is talking, he is so intelligent, and he is praising me. So he is kind of making a flattery, right? And he gives some false proof. How? He says that I ate this fruit, this apple, and I did not die. You should also eat. You will also become intelligent. You will also, you will also become intelligent. You will also have some intelligence like me. You should also eat this. And there is this lie that God keeps you ignorant, that God is keeping you ignorant. He says that you should not eat that fruit because he wants to keep you ignorant. So after listening to the logic and arguments of Satan, Eve thinks that yes, I should eat it. And then what happens is that she will eat that apple. And yes, now there would be reaction from the nature, because there is this fall ultimate, the most important book. storms, animals begins to kill each other. There would be storms, earthquake, volcanic eruptions, because now nature is harmed. Now there is a fall of humanity. This is the first disobedience of which Milton was talking about. And now there would be lust, there would be shame, there would be blame game, because now they would fight each other. Adam and Eve will fight with each other, that why you ate that fruit. And not only this, first human quarrel begins. Now there would be fighting in the world. And when Adam gets to know that she has eaten that fruit, he says that I will also eat. Why? Because of the female charm. Again, a PYQ of NET. Because of female charm. Because he loves Eve. He says that I will not, it's kind of like he does not want Eve to die alone, because he cannot live without Eve. So he says that I will also eat it, and he also eat this fruit, and they both have committed this sin, and now they become conscious of what they are, of their gender, of their clothes, and now they're naked. They make love, right? And there is this fall of humanity, right? So this is book number 9. And now in the book number 10, 11, 12, there would be the consequences, visions, and the ending. In the book number 10, we see what are the consequences. Now they are expelled from heaven. Now Adam and Eve, they both have eaten the fruit of knowledge. Now they are expelled from the heaven, and this Satan will return to the hell, and he is very happy that now he has done something really great, and the thing that he wanted to do, his only objective was to ruin the humanity, and he has done this thing. Now when he will return to hell, he felt that my hell will become good. There would be fruits and things. But what happens is that all devils are turned into serpents. That now, from now onwards, all the devils will be turned into serpent. And that is why there is a myth all around that snakes are evil, they are negative. That is why we treat snake in such a way. So this is where this idea comes from, that snakes are considered to be ominous and of some evil origin. But I do not think so, because they are also animals, right? They have feelings. So all the devils are turned into serpents, and fruits turns into ashes. And there are fruits, and they are very appealing and beautiful, looks delicious, but when you will come into contact with the fruit, they will disappear. They will turn into ashes, and you cannot eat. So there is a kind of punishment eternally, permanent punishment God has given to the Satan. There are 3 punishments also. Now these serpents have to always crawl on their belly, and they will be always, on the ground, and they would be, crushed by the people. That is why they always crawl on the ground and crushed by the people, right? So, and Eve, now the mother, the first mother of our humanity, she will give birth to the children, and she will have to bear pain. So these are the punishments. And Adam will be the bread of the family. He will toil hard, he will sweat a lot, and he will go outside the home and earn the living, do the job. So this is the punishment of Adam, the first father. And sin and death, who are, building a bridge from the hell to earth, because they are also preparing to ruin the humanity. So they were building that bridge from hell to earth in the book 4, when Satan left the hell. So now they are finally successful in building that bridge also, and now on the earth there would be sin and there would be death. They are literal and metaphorical, both, right? There would be death, now people will die, now people will commit sin. Ultimately, these are the consequences in book 10. And now in the book 11, God sends Michael to show Adam and Eve the visions, because now Adam and Eve are broken. They're crying and they are having some guilt. So God tells Michael to just go and console them, and he shows Adam the future, the vision, that how future will look like. There are Cain and Abel, who are 2 brothers and who are the son of this Adam, and they're fighting with each other and they're killing each other. So this is again a sin, to kill the brother. So this means that death has come on the earth. There would be diseases. The hospitals will be full of patients and diseases would be there. There is Noah's flood. Noah's flood is basically a flood, and there was this flood, a story. The flood came in order to wipe the negative people from the earth, and there was this Noah, who was a good person, good character, who was a virtuous person, and he was in a boat and he saved his family and him. So God says that I will wipe the negative people from the humanity, but the good people will be saved, like Noah. Then there is this Tower of Babel. Now Michael says that in the future people will build tower, and they want this tower to reach heaven, to reach the glory of God, but they cannot do so. Why? Because now what I will do, I will divide the people on the basis of language, religion, so that they cannot speak to each other. Because if the language of two people are different, that means that they cannot talk and there is no unity between them. So I will divide the people. So the humanity will be divided into different nations, different continents, different countries, and different languages. And then we have Messiah is basically our Jesus Christ. And he says that there would be a Messiah who will be born and resurrected, and he will die for you, for your humanity, and for the sins that you have committed. But the only condition is that you have to realize your sin, and he will, he will atone himself. Okay. So after listening to all those things, Adam and Eve kind of feels good that, okay, even if we are expelled from the Garden of Eden, we are having at least our Jesus Christ with us, who will, atone himself for us, who will pay the price of our sins. He will die. He will, defeat death every time. He will reincarnate, right? So this is the main idea. And this is again a PYQ, that in the book number 11, there is this mention of Agra and Lahore. You should know. Basically, Michael was talking about the humanity, the horizon, that from from this end to the Mughals, Lahore and Agra, people will fight with each other. So basically this was the main context of this. And in the ending, in the book 12, what happens is that in the ending, there is this theme of Felix Culpa and Paradise Within. Felix Culpa means fortunate fall. That even if something bad happens, even if this disobedient thing happened, there is some fortune in this thing. Means that blessing in disguise, basically. Because if Adam and Eve have not eaten that fruit of knowledge, Jesus Christ would not have atoned himself for the humanity if this has not happened. So basically this is also a grace of God, that he is himself, atoning for the people, for the humanity. So this is known as fortunate fall. And Paradise Within means that even if they are expelled from the Garden of Eden, they still have a paradise, and that paradise is within them, within their heart. It is not the outside paradise. It is not the physical paradise, the trees, the stars, the comfort, the rest. It is not that paradise. It is a paradise that is within you, the love, the peace, the virtuous qualities that you should have in your life, the peacefulness. So now they both are comforted by foreknowledge of the coming of Christ as a redeemer of mankind. This is PYQ. Okay. So now they are comforted by this thing. And they, very important line, one of the most beautiful lines of this English literature, they, Adam and Eve, hand in hand, wandering steps and slow. They are slow because they are sad, but they are wandering, and they are just hand in hand with each other because they love each other, and they are with each other no matter what. Through Eden took their solitary way. Now they are alone and they are going towards the earth, right? In the humans, and thus grows our humanity. So this is basically the ending of this poem. So this is all about this poem, and let us just talk about a few critics. And it is this John Dryden who wrote State of Innocence in 1671. This is a play, a rhyme play, and this Paradise Lost is turned into a rhyme in this play, State of Innocence. Okay, remember this point. And then we have William Blake, who says that Milton was of the devil's party without knowing it, right? So here this Satan is the real hero of this poem, because it is just John Milton who has talked about Satan at a great length. If you read the book 1, you will see that Milton has talked about Satan a lot, his leadership qualities, how he looks, his soliloquies, his speeches. So Blake says that he's of devil's party, not God's party. And Stanley Fish, the reader is the true subject. In the work that is The Surprise by Sin, he says that the reader is a true subject because there was this Eve who fall into the trap of Satan. Similarly, the reader also falls in the trap of this Satan, that Satan is the hero. But it is the reader who is the real hero here. Basically, reader response theory. That is why we read Stanley Fish in reader response theory, right? So these are the three critics you have to remember, and please explore a bit more if you want to go in some depth. Okay, then there is this question for you. Please tell me in the comment section. John Milton's companion poems are, there are 2 companion poems of John Milton. You have to tell me in the comment section. And let me tell you that yes, we have started our membership program. Okay, so you can join our membership. So basically, membership is if you want to make special videos for you on your demand on special topic, then you can join our membership also. And we have uploaded 1 video, so you can check that also, right? So this is all about today, and I really want you to subscribe to our channel as we are giving free classes for UGC NET English, and we are also making students prepare for GATE examination, SET examination, you know, NET examination, and we are also giving lectures on grammar portion, and there are also lectures on, you know, a few lectures on CUET PG. And if you are somebody who is preparing for TGT, PGT or KVS, NVS, so you can also subscribe to our channel. So yes, this is all about today. Thank you and have a nice day.